So now I'm going to talk a little bit about depression and stress. And I'm going to ask you to notice as I'm talking about this, what's happening in your body. Is thinking about depression and stress causing a fight-flight reaction, a tensing up, or is it causing a bit of that freeze reaction, the shutting down? And just be aware of it. Now, I know there is a lot of information about depression and MS now that's available through the MS Society, both the national and the Northern California chapter. But I just wanted to review it because it is something that contributes to stress and contributes to discomfort. So just notice how this is feeling to your body and use this as an ability to employ that compassionate observer to see how you're responding or reacting to this information. Struggling with depression is stressful to you and your body. You don't need to struggle. There is a link between depression and the inflammation present with pain, just like there's a link between stress and inflammation. So struggling with stress is difficult for your body. Struggling with depression is stressful for your body. Here are some symptoms of depression: sadness or irritability, loss of interest or pleasure in everyday activities, loss of appetite or increase in appetite, sleep disturbances, either insomnia or excessively sleeping, agitation, just being irritable and agitated, or a real slowing, a numbing feeling. And I'm not talking about in your body, I'm talking about a psychological numbing. Fatigue. Now, fatigue is obviously also an MS symptom. So it's really important to understand where your fatigue is coming from, if there's a physiological component, or if you're experiencing depression and that is increasing the physiological response. Feelings of worthlessness or guilt. Now, when we were doing that compassionate observer exercise, and I was talking about thoughts that hurt and thoughts that heal, if you weren't able to step out of the negative schema or leave the negative schema in your mind, move away from, and you weren't able to engage any of the positive self-talk ideas, if you really struggled with that assignment, negative schemas are a part of depression. That's what happens in depression. It's difficult to think of things in any other way. You get stuck in the negative, the poor self-evaluation, the feelings that it's never going to get better. So that is a real important thing for you to note. If you really struggled with that particular exercise, you may be struggling with depression. Problems of thinking or concentration. Now, yes, I know that's also a symptom of MS. But if you're having a lot of difficulty with thinking or concentration, and you haven't yet had an evaluation, a neuropsychological evaluation, you may want to consider this to help you determine whether this is coming from the MS or it could be caused by some depression. And if you're having persistent thoughts of death or suicide, or this isn't worth it, why should I go on? This is definitely a symptom of depression. If you're having any of these symptoms, I really want to encourage you to consult with your physician about medication or a referral to a mental health professional, especially some of the more difficult ones to be working with, being sad most of the time, thoughts of suicide, really, really struggling. If you're struggling, you don't need to struggle. Please seek some assistance. You can find some more information about depression and MS at this website, the National MS Society, and you can also call the 800 number to get a referral to a mental health professional if you believe that you have depression. So once again, I want you to check in with your body and just notice. We're not going to be talking about depression anymore, but notice. Notice if there was a change when I told you we're not going to be talking about depression anymore. Notice if there was a change in your body. And notice if your body had gone into a minor or not so minor fight, flight, or freeze reaction. So let's talk about reaction versus response. Reaction. It's automatically responding without having control. This is what happens when your body is in a fight, flight, or freeze reaction. So sometimes that'll happen. There'll be something and you'll just realize you automatically, physiologically responded. Okay, really good to notice. And that's when you're going to utilize some of the tools you're learning here to get yourself out of that reaction. Response is being able to note that there is a stressor. Well, this is difficult. And to choose what to do. I think about my dog who, in spite of endless training, is absolutely positively compelled to bark at the person bringing the mail. Compelled. She doesn't have a choice. So what she has learned to do, and what we have worked with her on, is getting yourself out of it. So now, instead of hysterically barking and it never stops, she can hysterically bark for a very short period of time and then go over and lay down and begin to settle. I've learned a lot about fight and flight from my dog. But fortunately, we have more choices. We have the ability to note there is a person delivering the mail just like yesterday, and nothing bad happened yesterday. Maybe it's just my body reacting. Maybe I'm just reacting. You know what your stressor is. It's probably not someone bringing the mail. But whatever it is, to begin to know, oh, there it is. There's my stressor. That's my button. And to begin to notice your reaction and to choose how you want to deal with it, how you want to respond to it. Because we want to have the choice. Yes, sometimes we react without thinking. Sometimes we react before we even realize we're reacting. But then we can back away from that and calm down. So, what's mindfulness? Maybe heard a lot about mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness allows you more choice. It allows you to slow down the reaction so that you can respond. Mindfulness is not hypervigilance. It's not being hyper aware, watchful. It is paying light attention or soft attention to your thoughts or your body. Like when we did the compassionate observer exercise, and when we did the exercise where I was just asking you to notice where the stress was in your body. It is paying light attention, not analyzing, not judging, just being aware. Noticing, observing in a non-judgmental way. The practice of mindfulness allows you to learn about yourself, your environment, and your reaction to your environment in a gentle way. You are beginning to understand more about mindfulness when you practice the compassionate observer. See if you can catch yourself just noticing, without judgment, just saying, that's interesting, that happened, and then I felt this way. That's interesting, that's good to know. Now I know that that's a stressor for me. Now I know that I can use some things to take care of myself because this thing clearly is causing me some stress. So meditation. We hear a lot about meditation, and there are so many different types of meditation. Meditation is a practice of focusing your mind so that you can begin to bring some calm and clarity. Meditation is filtering out all the distractions, the outside noises and the noises that happen between our ears, so that we have moments when our minds are calm, alert, but free of thoughts. I'm not talking about being zoned out. I'm talking about being alert and just being present without the ongoing commentary that we sometimes have, or the to-do list. As I said, there are so many types of meditation. Some meditation require that you sit for a very long time, and certainly there are some meditations where you sit for a long time that can be tremendously helpful. But you don't need to be able to sit and be present for a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. 5 or 10 minutes can be tremendously helpful. And in the beginning, sometimes it may be 1 minute before your mind wants to distract you. Some meditations involve sitting, while others involve moving. And some instruct you to close your eyes, while others you can look at an image and allow yourself to meditate on water or a little flame or a picture of something. And there's so many resources for you on meditation, and no meditation is the right way, but will give you some experience with it. So when we talk about a mindful meditation, just a sitting in awareness, like with a compassionate observer. With the compassionate observer, I asked you to note what was happening and maybe even change those thoughts. In a meditation that's more mindful, you're just being aware. You're just noticing. Research has shown, and there's been quite a bit of research has shown that meditation can be helpful for some people in this way. Research has shown that it can increase stress tolerance, decrease the perception of pain. What does that mean? It means that people feel like they're not experiencing as much pain. It can decrease depression and anxiety. Meditation has been studied to decrease a large number of medical symptoms. And to increase energy because it gives you a little bit of a break, slowing things down just a little bit. Many people have found that meditation is helpful for ability to sleep well, and maybe that's why there's an increase in energy. Increasing cognitive ability. It's very important if you are having some difficulty with thinking. Meditation can be very helpful in a mindful meditation. Increasing problem-solving skills, and generally increasing a sense of well-being.